There was an infamous incident back in 1982. Ozzy was banned from the city for a length of time. Sometime in the late 90s, he made good, and everything was well. So in the summer of 2003, the Ozzfest Music Festival was starting here in San Antonio. So as my role of interviewing all the bands, doing the press for the radio station at the time, I had conducted an interview with Sharon Osbourne over the phone. And we arranged to have a press conference at the Alamo in the summer, June of 2003. So Ozzfest came to San Antonio, and a couple of days before the whole tour launched, Ozzy, for the first time in June of 2003, met me down at the Alamo, and we did a very simple press conference to answer a few fluff questions. And news stations were there. The audio was shared with radio stations across the country. And it was just a real quick tour kickoff. Welcome Ozzy back to the Alamo. So I know there's been some photos and some videos when he returned in 2015 with his son. Mm-hmm. But Ozzy officially returned to the Alamo for the first time in a press conference with me in the radio station in June of 2003. He did address said incident. He said a few words, which I won't repeat here, about this time he was able to use the restroom properly in the Alamo, unlike what he did the first time in 1982 improperly.
Right. Yeah, that's very interesting. Also, I don't know if you saw the Alamo sent out a quick statement on that, and they kind of reflected on how his story started with a bad, obviously disrespectful action, and then he apologized, so it kind of turned around, and they ended up sharing a sweet photo of him there visiting.
Yeah.
And I believe he even donated, right? So much money to like the
I think so.
Association here having to do with that. So that's kind of interesting seeing that shift there.
Yeah. I have pictures from the 2003 press conference if you need them. He also, many years prior, back in 1995, he was unretiring. He had retired, and then he decided he didn't want to be at home, so he unretired. And so many years earlier, while he was still banned from playing in San Antonio, he actually had a press conference in Austin at the Austin Music Hall. And I went up there to cover it, of course, as part of my role at the radio station. And I did not get to ask him a question because I simply went, "Hi, Ozzy. My name's Chuck Stanley from KISS Radio in San Antonio." And right as I was about to start my question, he stopped me. He goes, "San Antonio?" And he goes, "I am so sorry," except he said a lot of F words in the "I'm so sorry." He simply apologized to me for the city 5 minutes long. So I never got to ask my question with the pool of reporters because he just apologized. So this was, I think, several years before he was redeemed himself. I think he redeemed himself in 97, 98. I don't know.
Yeah, but, it was something like 10 years later.
Yeah. So anyway, that was one of my first experiences interviewing him. He apologized to me. Never got to ask him a question. And then the next reporter asked their question, and that was it. So he had a love affair with the city because the city embraced him, and he embraced the city because this city is just rock and roll to its core, and has been since the 70s, and all the way through the Joe Anthony era, all the way through era of San Antonio radio. So he's just beloved, and he will be missed.
Definitely, especially being dubbed the heavy metal capital of the world.
We are
hand in hand with a lot of famous concert promoters like Jack Orban, I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Um,
He's the one that actually bailed him out of jail.
yes, I read that.
Yeah.
I saw
Now,
that, yeah.
I never got to acquire it, but a radio buddy of mine actually has the newspaper, the original newspaper clipping. I don't know what it is, the whole paper of Ozzy, being released
Right,
from
right.
jail. And yeah, that was when you saw Jack all through all those years of my time in the radio business and him doing concert promotions. It was always fun to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I bet. Um, yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Was there anything you wanted to add that we didn't talk about or
No,
no?
he, I did a lot of interviews with him over the years, sometimes in person, sometimes over the phone, just
Mhm.
because it's radio. We didn't need to do TV.
Mhm.
He just, he loved this city. He loved rock and roll. He loved his fans, and
Oh, wait, don't move that now.
it's a rough day. It's a rough day. Um, but and if y'all need any pictures or supplemental stuff, I
Oh,
have
sure, we would
a
love.
handful of stuff that I can email or whatever you want to use.
Yeah, you wanna
They're
give us an
20-year
email.
old photos, so we can do that.
That would be awesome. Yeah, and then I can't forget to ask, what's your favorite song of his or the band's?
So I'm gonna go with solo. It's No More Tears, and then if it's Black Sabbath, you're talking Supernaut, Symptom of the Universe, Paranoid, Children of the Grave, things like that are just his contribution to this thing of rock and roll that we all love is just it's immeasurable.